Welcome to Steel Curtain Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciated. Thank you to all my subscribers and followers. Please tell your family and friends about it, share it. And if you just come across the channel, please don't leave without subscribing and hitting the likes as we have built a reputable Steelers channel here. And again, you can leave your comments at the end. Just be respectful. We kind of go with that. And this particular channel, we do a lot of reviews, look inside the Steelers, but however, we don't run with Rumorville. We take pride in just waiting till factual information comes out. Too many rumors in the game where you could be talking about that for days and never translates into anything. So I don't waste my time on that. All right, let's get to it. This was the Steelers Week 18 review of the Bengals coming to the Steelers home field, and final score is 19-17. And this has just been too much of a skid for the Steelers. Not looking good. Um, First quarter, you can't start this way. Since he gets 10, Steelers get blanked. Second quarter, Steelers get 7. Since he gets 3. So they're up 13-7 after first half. You're not going to win ball games with 7 points or on the board after the first half. That just does not calculate for me in a winning situation. Then we get the third quarter, and since he adds on another field goal, and then in the final fourth quarter, Steelers did make a push, but it was only 10-3, and there's again final score 19-17. Some errors, a lot of errors made by it looked like Pickens just did not capitalize. A lot of error, little disappointed in his game. Unfortunately, Freiermuth had a great game, but just could not hold on to that final catch to keep things rolling. But really, I have to look at this. It's too. I've said this all season long. Anyway, we're going to get down and read the rest of the stats, and then we'll talk more about it. Total yards. I mean, this tells a story. 314 compared to 193. That's just tells a whole lot. Rushing 277, and that's for the Bengals. 277 to 148. Come on now, that's just not good stats. Rushing yards, or sorry, that was passing yards. 277 to 148. Rushing yards. Steelers were ahead in that aspect, 74 to 68, but fairly close. Total plays 71 to 58. That's not a great number for the Steelers. Average yards per play 4.3 for Bengals, 3.3 for the Steelers. Behind again. First downs, again, not moving the chain well enough, 21 to 16 for the Bengals. Third down efficiency, the edge was definitely, for the Bengals, 38 to 33%. Penalties 6-3, and this just tells you we kept things in check, so there's no reason why the rest of the game didn't come in. We didn't pull things in order. There's a few reasons. I'll get into it. Penalty yards 25 for the Bengals, 20 for the Steelers. Turnovers 2 for the Bengals, 1 for the Steelers. But again, where's the capitalization of it? Tackles 53 for the Bengals, 70 for the Steelers, but it's just not showing. Sacks for each of them had 4. Sack yards lost 31 for the Bengals, 29 for us. But time of possession, here we go. 38% to 22. Those are just not good stats whatsoever. Not sorry, the Steelers failed in this department. First quarter 9:48. Burrows pass, uh, short catch from Chase, 12-yard touchdown. York gets the extra point, so you got a 7-0 lead. Then York gets a 48-yard one at 1:29 left, and that field goal is good. So it's 10-0 after the first quarter. Then we got the second quarter. It's 9:54. Harris rushes left tackle and gets a touchdown, 1-yarder, and Boswell's good for the point. That brings it to 10-7. Then 18 seconds left. York gets a 20-yard field goal attempt, and it's 13-7. They go that much further ahead. Third quarter, we had 7:01. York gets another field goal attempt, and it's good, 16-7. That's just not a good. It's not good to be down like that. 7 points in the third quarter is all the Steelers had. This is just ridiculous. Fourth quarter, York again, 20-yard field goal. It's good, 19-7. That's just you're not going to win a football game this way. 8:07, Wilson finally gets a pass out, complete to Fryermouth for a 19-yard touchdown. Boswell good. That brings it to 19-14. 2:44 left. Boswell gets a 54-yard field goal, brings it to 19-17, and then the Steelers choke. That is your final score. This skid has gone on too long for the Steelers. I'm sorry to say that, but not very happy about this, and none of us should be. There's no reason to be happy about that, right? I mean, they're just choking when they shouldn't be. 4 game skid. You can't win. You're not going to win when starting off that way. Your first half, terrible numbers. Do you think you can win with 7 points? It's just ridiculous. So to me, this is mismanagement of the offense. Could not move the chains well enough. Yeah, great to see the push, but it's just far too little, too late. And for this to be going into the playoff week, the bye week, and going up against the Ravens, that's not a good recipe for us. They're coming hot. They've pulled it together at the right time, and we have fallen apart at the right time. Wrong time for us, but right time for them. They've got too many weapons. They're well coached. I do not. It's a shame, but when I look at this Steelers team, it seems like that defensive line is really where the bulk of the work is done. I don't like what we do mid, in secondary area to mid, uh, linebacker area. I just find, I've said it all along, I find we're weak there. I don't know what type of system, um, like what it is, whether it's the players but we just seem to be so vulnerable. And a guy like Burrows is going to, we put some pressure on him, which was nice, not enough. You can't, even though we got to him and we didn't hurt him as well. It's just not enough. He still managed to move that ball down the field, and that's the thing. You got to be able to move the ball. You got to be able to make it count when you're in the red zone, and we didn't. And so I got a lot of question marks as to how we managed this game offensively. Sorry, but Pickens, not a good day for him in my books. You can't be dropping balls like this. Even Austin, these guys kind of had some chokes at the wrong time, but I don't like a 4 game tailspin going into the playoffs. It's not a good recipe. And, we're looking for our first playoff win in a long time. I don't see it. So, my projection, I think this is going to be a bad projection in next Sunday's game against the Ravens. They got too many weapons. We had a hard time with them. That when we needed to win a game, we couldn't. For the last 4 or 5 games, we needed to be on tap, and we weren't. You got to come through in those games, and we ended up pretty much even in our division when you started off, at the beginning of the season with the edge. And to me, that we dropped the ball overall. We had a great chance. Yes, we go Steelers go. I'm proud of them for making the playoffs, but to get the monkey off the back and get your first playoff win, going up against your division rivals, who I said were going to be number one in the division, you almost blew it and had Cincy go ahead of you too, because Cincy had a good hot streak going. Just not happy with the results of this. 4 weeks in a row, there's no excuses. Um, I say Harris seemed to be a bright spot. Fryermuth was a bright spot. Wilson, I'm not happy with the way he managed the offense on this last while. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, he's got some great pointers to him, but and sometimes it's the receivers choking. Let's make no mistake about it. So it's not just the QB. Um, we got our receivers, and I've said this all along. That's why I wanted to trade for Metcalf with Seattle. I think you need you need some talent for a number one receiver, and I still don't find we have that number one receiver. I've said it all along. I feel like Pickens has lived up to being a number two. He's not a number one. We don't have a number one, and it's showing. Thank God Fryermuth did well, but wouldn't it be nice to have a sure thing, a guy who you know makes things happen with Metcalf? You might have to pay for it, and it's like we don't want to pay for it. Sometimes you got to make that move, you know. So for me, I love my Steelers, always will. Not happy. Not happy with the results. Sorry. I say, go Steelers, go. Let's hope we do well and upset, but I do not see us being. There's too many weapons on that Raven team. Um, Jackson, you've got to continue. We couldn't contain Burrows enough. Like I said, he still ended up having too much time throwing the ball. Now, thank God, doesn't have the greatest arm, but he hurt us with his running game. Um, in that last game, and the combination of him and Henry. And Henry's a freight train. As much as I love Najee, I still say Henry's the best in the league. And with Jackson being a threat too, if we can't contain things, it's like if we really rely on that defense. I feel so bad for that line between Watts, Harvick, and Cameron. Cameron Hayward. I just feel bad that those particular guys seem to be carrying the bulk of the load. And guys like Queen, you see an awful lot of choking. And that's where the area of where I see our defense has some problems in that area. Queen, guys like that, and just not coming through. Secondary even has issues. Um, our line is all right. But so our running games was okay, but our passing game let us down. Let us down. It let us down badly. There's got to be some way of managing that offense better. Um, and again, sometimes it comes down to the individual receivers. And I've said this again. We needed a number one receiver, and we don't have it. In my books, we don't have it. Now, there's some good results out of Fryermouth, but again, you're not looking at number one receivers here, and you've seen Pickens, who is kind of your lead guy. Unfortunately, he's not a number one, and that's continually showing up. He's a number two, and I like him, but boy, did he choke in this game, didn't he? Unable to hold the ball, and that seems to be a story, man. Most of the years it was Johnson, so I don't know. Thank God we had one receiver, I forget his name, Williams, made a nice play, and that seemed to be a nice play as well, Williams and Fryermuth, but just not enough. So with that being said, that's the way I see it. I'm projecting a good slant to the next game. I think we're going to get kind of blown out a bit. I just think the Ravens have heated up at the right time. Steelers have choked at the wrong time. And you don't want to be going into the playoffs on a losing streak. So I don't foresee a good outcome. I love my Steelers, always will, win or lose. However, my prediction, I'm thinking, and this is just a guess, I'm projecting a bit of a blowout. I really am. I just think Henry's going to cash in, and I think Jackson, if we don't contain him, his legs are a weapon. You got to keep him hemmed in and make him throw because he doesn't have a great arm. But we weren't able to do that the last game, the second game of the season. So I really don't feel good about us going in the playoffs against them. I'm guessing somewhere's around, and this is just my projection. Let's just say 35 to maybe 17 at best. and that's given. We got to start scoring more points. You can't win football games and expect to win football games with 17 points to your total pointage, and we've been doing that a lot lately. Just unable to get the points up. So we're unable to move the sticks enough when you're not having consistent. You got to make it count, and we're not. So unfortunately, like I say, I'm projecting a 35-17 victory for the Ravens next week. I hate to say that. It hurts me to say that. We're losing. You just can't be going in on a 4-game losing streak and the Ravens heated up at the right time. That's just my projection. And that team's got too many weapons with Henry, even Jackson. Um, Too many weapons. Good running game. They got it all in that team, and they're so well coached. So you got an even. It's like Steelers are good, well coached for the most part too, but these are like two. It all comes down to the weapons you got, and they have more weapons than us. They did a wise thing by getting Henry in my books. So, thank you for joining me. Happy New Year to you all. Hope you have a great 2025. Now, I am not going to be able to get a video out immediately after next week's game. Unfortunately, I will be out of the country, so I will be on vacation. So, I will have to make one as soon as I get back. So, just the way that falls at this point. But yeah, we'll do one when we get back, and hopefully I'm wrong. I'm hoping when I get back that I'll be making a video saying, the Steelers pull it off, but I don't know. I'm not too optimistic with us being in a tailspin. So go Steelers, go. And thank you. Make sure you subscribe, hit the likes, share. Muchly appreciate that. And thank you to all my followers. And we will catch you in the next episode. So, unfortunately, you're going to find that I'm a realist. So, I speak it like it is, what I actually see coming. So, I'm not just blowing the horn just because it's my team. I will say when I don't think they're going to pull it off and when they're playing poorly. You got to move. You've got to move the sticks a lot better than that. So, not too happy with the way the chains moved in the last while for the Steelers. I just don't foresee it. Thank you for joining me. We'll catch you in the next episode. Happy New Year once again, 2025. I wish you all the best. Hope the Lord brings you wonderful things. All the best. God bless.